It's 11:30 live from Johannesburg. This is eNCA. Good morning. I'm Simpiwe Ngone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's take a look at a top story this morning. Voter registration hasn't yet begun in Denver, south of Johannesburg. George Goch hostel residents are unhappy over a decision to incorporate the hostel into a different area. They say they were not consulted. eNCA reporter Malungelo Booi joins us now from Denver for the latest on the situation there. A very good morning to you, Malu. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we know that earlier in the week there were fierce clashes between police and protesters over the demarcation issue. How is the situation at the moment?
Well, I can tell you now, there's a lot of police officers here in Denver, and as well as local residents are going by, they are doing their daily business. There's also there's two voter registration centers here in this particular area, but both those registration centers have been closed. They have not opened. We're supposed to open at 8 o'clock. Now it's around 11:30. They have not opened. What the IEC officials are doing are trying to set up a small station where the residents that want to come and register to vote, they can do so. We've been inside the hostels. We have interacted with many people, and in fact they are telling us that there's not going to be any registration yet. The issue is that they've been moved from Ward 65 to Ward 118 by the demarcation board. They're saying that they were not properly consulted about that, and they're raising a point that many South Africans would raise, that they're saying that their fears is that if they've moved to 118, it means that they'll have to wait for longer to get services, because they've waited to get services here at Ward 65, and they know exactly where they are in terms of the list of getting houses, where they are, and now they're saying that being moved to a total different new ward, it means that they'll be at the tail now of the housing waiting list and other services that they're saying that they're desperate for.
Do the IEC officials, though, confirm that registration won't take place today?
Well, they have not. What they won't do is to confirm that registration won't take place. What they are doing is that they're trying to set up, making sure that those people who want to come and register to vote can do so. One thing that IEC officials cannot do, Simpiwe, is to grab people and force them to come to register. People will have to come out of their own will to come and register to vote. But the sentiment here is that people are not going to come and vote until the matter of the demarcation has been addressed. And they are saying that they are not against, in fact, registering to vote, but they want their matter to be addressed to, and they need to be made to understand how this decision was reached if they're saying that they were not part of it.
Now, is there a sense of apathy or the lack of interest, Malungelo, to take part in the actual registration process on the part of the hostel dwellers?
People here do want to take part in the elections in Peru, but they want their concerns, and they want this matter to be addressed. And you know, when people talk issues of service delivery, it's issues that affect a lot of South Africans living in conditions like this, because one of the important things that they're saying is that we are currently at Ward 65. We know where we are in terms of the list in the housing waiting list. Now, if we are being moved to a total new ward, it means we're going to have to wait for another 5 years in getting the services that they need, and they want our officials and they want the demarcation board to meet with them so that they can actually state their case, because they're saying that they were not consulted in this matter, and they were not even aware. The ward councillor was saying that he was not aware when the whole demarcation, when there was a talk about demarcation, they were not aware that this part of Johannesburg or the inner city would be affected by the new demarcation rule.
Any likelihood that maybe this issue will be sorted out, Malungelo, just so the registration process gets underway?
I have not spoken to the demarcation board personally, but I know they've spoken to eNCA.com, where the board is saying that this matter has been closed. They've done everything. Everything was done above board, and it's closed. The matter is closed. There's no turning back. This community is now part Ward 118.
All right, Malungelo, we'll certainly be in touch with you again as we see what's actually coming out of the voter registration process at Denver in south of Johannesburg. Thank you so much for joining us. That was eNCA reporter Malungelo Booi speaking to us live from the line, from Denver in south of Johannesburg. Meanwhile, the IEC says it hopes to register at least 1 million new voters ahead of the local government elections. Inquiries are streaming in at the call centre. You can visit the website elections.org.za to check your registration details and find a voting station, or call the number on your screen right now. It's 0800